Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be continuing our 400 horsepower journey in our STI. So to do that, we're gonna need a Flex Fuel sensor kit and 1200cc injectors. These are absolutely crucial when trying to make big horsepower numbers in your turbo car and having the most reliable way of doing it. So stick around because by the end of the video, we will be E85 ready and we'll be that much closer to making our goal. Let's get to it. Before we dive into the install, let's take a minute to talk about why I'm upgrading these specific parts. These upgrades are all about making the car ready for E85 while ensuring that the fuel system can handle higher demands of power safely and reliably. Let's start with the Flex Fuel sensor. This sensor is critical because it measures the ethanol content in your fuel. Ethanol fuels like E85 burn cooler and can support higher horsepower. They require precise adjustments to the air-fuel ratio and ignition timing to work properly. The Flex Fuel sensor constantly communicates with the ECU, letting it know the exact ethanol content in the tank. Based on that data, the ECU adjusts for fuel delivery, ignition timing, and other engine parameters to keep it running safely. Next, the injectors. These 1200cc D-Short injectors are designed for high-performance applications like this build. The stock injectors of the STI just can't keep up for us to reach our 400 horsepower goal, especially when running E85. E85 requires 30 to 40% more fuel than pump gas because of its low energy density. With these 1200cc injectors, we have plenty of headroom for higher horsepower and can run E85 safely without worrying about running lean or maxing out the fuel system. Together, the Flex Fuel sensor and the 1200cc injectors are the foundation for running E85 on this build. They allow us to take advantage of the ethanol benefits of cooler combustion, more power, and knock resistance, while keeping the engine safe and reliable. These parts are critical as we push closer to our 400 horsepower goal. All right, first things first, we're gonna need to remove our battery, but before we do that, let me explain why. We're going to need to remove these lines in order to get our Flex Fuel sensor lines on there. Flex Fuel sensor sits behind the battery, which is why we got to remove it. Down over here is where we're going to be installing our brand new injectors. That's the driver's side, and now this is the passenger side. So let's go ahead and remove that battery and get right to it. So now that we removed the battery and got that out the way, we now have access to our bolt hole location where we will put the ethanol sensor. So that will go ahead and live right over here. You know, obviously it's gonna be a little bit easier once we get this harness out the way. It's gonna be like right there. So let me go ahead. I'm gonna take this one off and then we're gonna go ahead and start bolting that in. Okay, now that we have the Flex Fuel sensor installed, we need to remove our return line. That is this bottom one here, all the way to our fuel pressure regulator. Now, we're gonna need to remove this in order to install the line that goes from here to the front of our Flex Fuel sensor, and then the line that goes from there to the back of, or I guess the front of our fuel pressure regulator, which goes back to the gas tank. So luckily we don't need to get rid of this beautiful line that Radium provided with our FPR. So let's go ahead, get this removed and install those lines. So I would install the side that will go here to the Flex Fuel sensor, but that will get in the way when we do our injectors, so that will go on last. What we're gonna do now is install our return line to the fuel pressure regulator. All right, now that's our line installed. Next, I say we go ahead and get our little module all installed and the wiring harness. That one's gonna be a little bit difficult because I do not want to take off the intercooler but luckily the TGV is right here in this gap. So I'm gonna try my best to show you guys me disconnecting that and then also hooking up everything else for the harness. So let's go ahead and get to it. Alrighty then, you guys. So we got the TGV all disconnected here. And the way I did that is I snuck my hand in through here, used a flathead to go through this side to be able to pry it to, like I gave it a twist, it was able to come off when I squeezed it open with this hand because there wasn't much room in here to try to actually use my wrist to pull it out. Came off nice and easy. So next, what we're going to be doing is we're going to connect our harness here. This side goes into the harness and then this side goes onto the TGV. You would only use this if you still have TGVs, because if you don't, your TGVs will stay closed, and if they stay closed, your car will run like shit. It's gonna act like it has no power. So we definitely wanna connect this, and yeah, man, so let's go ahead, plug her in, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do next. All right, so we got our wires all hooked up down there. They're nice and tight. I heard them click for both times. Next, we just gotta connect our little module, this one, and we gotta figure out where to put it. So IBR suggests putting it on here on the fuse box. I was kind of hoping putting it somewhere, maybe like the frame rail or like on the side right here. But honestly, the connector's right here, and I really don't know if if I were to get pulled over, if a cop would even know what this is, and if they were to ask, I could just say this is one of those things to make rats like go away, you know, just a sophisticated one. We're just gonna install it here. I already took off the old adhesive because this is a used unit, as you guys remember. Yours should come with a little sticker or a little 3M thing right here. I have my own roll of 3M from when I was installing my GoPro mounts. So just gonna cut a square out, put it here, clean this up, put it right there, and then we're all good to go. There we go, you guys. We got the Flex Fuel sensor installed. As I said, we'll install the other line at the end because we're gonna be installing the 1200cc Work injectors now. So let's go ahead and get to it. So before we go and install the injectors, I just wanna show you guys real quick how they look compared to the stock ones. So these, obviously I haven't taken them out. These are the actual OEM stock ones. The ones that are in the car right now are some like $60 eBay ones that I installed. And here you go, you can just kind of see the difference in them. Maybe trying to make it to where you can't see the glare. I mean, I already compared them side by side. They are the same height. They don't have this extra like fat bushing that's right here. O-ring. But from what I read on their on the website and stuff, you don't need that. It should be pretty much plug and play, other than you needing a harness jumper, but that's fine. So first things first that we're gonna need to do is we're going to need to remove this entire harness, the alternator harness. So we're just gonna take that off, fold it out, hang it over here, just so we can get access to the connectors right here for the injector. And we should be able to just finesse our hand in here to get the other injector connector off. And then it's two 12 mils right there. I know it's hard to see you guys. Sorry about that. Hold on real quick. Yeah, there we go. So it's those two, right? Two 12s, and you can see the blue ones right there. We're gonna take that out. So yours is probably gonna be a little bit different than mine because I didn't install the brackets that go on this because that is annoying as hell to like try to get on and off. So they're off. You can see like there's a bolt right here. Oh, let me grab my flashlight. So, where is it? Oh yeah, so it's like down here behind the air pump, and the bracket even goes like down here on the valve cover, and then behind it. This side is like the biggest pain in the ass to take that bracket off. So I just never put them back on. Nothing happens to the injectors, you know, like they don't overheat. I don't even know why those shields are there other than to be a bracket for the intercooler on that side. So that's why I only have the intercooler bolted in on one bolt right here, but it's plenty sturdy. That thing's not going anywhere. But yeah, man, so that's what we're going to be doing. After you get all that done, we'll just get started right here. So I'm gonna set you guys up on a little time lapse. If there's anything important, I'll come in, but let's get to it. Okay, so there we go. This is the used one, or this is the eBay one. These are the originals. Here, let me pull one out just so you guys can see the difference. OEM, aftermarket. So they look pretty much the same, but as you can see, the part number on the fake one says Denso, and then this one says Denso as well, but it is got a different part number on it, and they look a little different. Obviously, this one's way more blue, and then here's the part number for the Denso one, and then here's the part number for the real one. So, you know, they worked for me, but they were just running out of fuel. That's why I replaced these, because I was running out of fuel with the Cobb tune, but I guess they're both pretty much the same. Oh, look. This one has this, and this one doesn't. I never even noticed that before. Well, let's go ahead and install these new ones. All right, so next step that we're gonna need to do to install these new injectors is install our pigtails. So we're gonna cut this open, get that going. Here they are. So D-Short do sell ones that are just drop-in. They have the stock connector. They just didn't have it for these 1200, so it's whatever. Let's go ahead. This does make it a little easier to connect on here too. So we go like this, and then boom, got it clicked in. So we got that sitting right there. Let's connect the other one that's over here. We got that like this. Boom, there we go. So let's go ahead and grab our injector. Luckily, we only have to open up one pack at a time. Also, what you want to make sure, you can use this grease right here. You can use dielectric grease or silicone spray, whatever kind of silicone Vaseline, whichever works. So I'm gonna use this. If I run out, I got some more over here. So let's get to it. Here's our new injector. So real quick, what you want to do is you want to make sure that there is absolutely no dirt in the holes for the intake where the injector is going to sit. If there is, clean that out. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alrighty then, you guys, so we're done with this side of the injectors. Now all you have to do, if you are following exactly what I'm doing, is hook up the return line from here to the ethanol sensor that is right here, and you're complete with the ethanol side. So let's go ahead and hook that up. So if you are using a used unit, don't forget to blow out your lines. You don't know how long they've been sitting. I always blow it out with your mouth, or compressed air is fine. Make sure there's nothing hanging on the tip of this flex fuel sensor, and just route it wherever you think it's going to be the least amount of like disturbance and strain. So for me, let me go ahead and get this alternator harness out the way and plug it in. All right, there we go. We got it all hooked up now. Got our IBR Flex Fuel Sensor Kit all hooked up right here and here. It looks like our battery will still be able to get nicely situated too. Nice. And we're never really gonna need that extra slack in the battery harness. So we're all good there. If you haven't already, don't forget to connect your connector that's down here. Also, don't forget to lock it up right here. There we go, locked. Now it won't wiggle off, and we are all good. So let's go ahead. We got that. Now we're gonna continue this on the other side, and once we do that, we should be all good. I'll bring you inside with the laptop, upload the tune. I might even show you what you're supposed to do if you're running 91 or E85 only. The equation and like the math you're supposed to do, because you're supposed to change the injector sizing a little bit. So I'll show you guys that. But for me, with this ethanol sensor, because of the custom tune that I have, it will be able to actually distinguish what the percentage is, so I can run flex fuel. So it actually would be able to tell between two different maps on how much power, timing, and ignition all of it can do, like I mentioned earlier in the animation. So I can't show you that part, because if you want to see that part, you're gonna have to get tuned by me. So if you live in the NorCal area, go ahead, message me in the comments, message me on Discord if you're a part of the Patreon. Even if you're a part of the Patreon, I can actually help you out a little bit more and give you a little bit more info, because you did pay for that. So go ahead, if you haven't already, hop into the Patreon, or message me if you want me to tune your car. I will gladly do it, give you that special tune so you can have anti-lag, rolling launch control, and then being able to run these flex fuel kits. So anyway, enough yapping. Let's get into the car, upload the tune, and see how she runs. All right, you guys. So I can't show you how the car runs because I don't have a mount for my new camera. But what I can do is show you how to set up the tune to work with your new injectors. So what you want to do first is go into your ECU flash, and you want to scroll down to your injectors and open up your latency and your flow scaling. So what you can do with that is the data that they give you, the PDF that you get, well, you don't get it, you have to look it up on D-Shworks website, but it will be there. You just click the ECU flash one, not the cob access one. You get that, you look at you look for the data that they have, and then you put that into here. So I can tell you what they say it is for the CC. For the 1200 ones, it's 1200, and then they have their numbers for the latency, so you copy and paste their table and you put it in yours, and turn the car on, let it warm up. If it's cold, or let it do its thing, it's gonna be running like shit. Like, not like shit, but it's gonna be running really rich. So then you back out, you just start driving, you let the car warm up, get everything up to operating temp, and then you go to 3000 RPM. Once you're at 3000 RPM, you want to just start going down whatever test road you have. There's a road by my house that doesn't have a lot of stops and it's really long, so I use that. You can use the freeway. If you use the freeway, you want to be in 6th gear, and you want to be at, if you don't have the fuel pressure rails or fuel pressure regulator, like aftermarket ones, you want to be at 32,000 RPM or 3,200 RPMs on the freeway, and you just want to drive like that steady. If you do have at least the fuel pressure regulator, then you can do it at 3,000 RPMs. That's what I did. So I'm right here in the street at 4th gear, 3,000 RPMs. We're driving down, and at 3,000 RPMs for me, it was at negative or positive like 30. I think it was negative 30 for my short term and long term. So when you're here looking at your logger, if both of these are the same, like around the same number, really high in the positive or negatives, then you know that your scaling is bad. Okay, your flow constant. So whatever the percentage is for the long term, you want to multiply that by your flow constant, so the 1200. So for example, mine was like 31% of fuel was trying to be taken out. So what I would do is go into the flow constant, multiply this by 31%. Awesome. Start the car, let the car relearn a little bit at idle, then you continue driving for like 3 minutes, let the car learn, and after the car is fully learned, then you start paying attention to what it says at the 3000 RPM. Then from there, you just keep multiplying little by little until you're around that 3% range. Then like you're really close. You want it to be at that 3% range, because depending on what you change to your latency will be affecting your long term as well. So I left it around that 3% range plus or minus. And now looking at your short term, you should see if it is still really if it's still trying to add a lot of fuel or take away a lot of fuel. So if it's trying to take away a lot of fuel or add a lot of fuel, so like if it's trying to take away a lot of fuel, you multiply your latency table, you select the whole thing. So you select your whole table, and then you click the multiplication symbol, and then you do 0.25. If it's 25%, that will take away 25. Now, let's say for some reason, you took away a lot, but your long term is still at 0, but your short term is trying to add a lot more. Then you would do 1.25 if it was 25% trying to add, or whatever positive number it was trying to add. But most of your guys' case, it's going to be subtracting. So you do the 0.25 or the 0.18. That's what you do. So then you just start dialing that in, and then once you dial that in, when you're at 3000 RPM, or for 32 for anyone who doesn't have the fuel pressure mod, it should be pretty close to 0, 0. They both should be 0. Like perfect world, they're both 0. You got 0 short term, 0 long term. That means your car is running as efficient as it can. You got the perfect AFR. But cars don't work like that. There's always a fluctuation. So as long as you're within 3% of each other, and you're set. So like 3% total. So your short term plus your long term, if it's only 3%, that's awesome. And what I mean by that is when you're looking at your Hold on, sorry about that. It's not gonna open up anything. So when you're looking at your short term and your long term, let's say this was +3, but your long term was -2. Well, you add those two together, that's 1. So it's really only adding 1% of fuel. That's awesome, perfect. You're right there. 5% is okay. 3% is really good, and obviously 0 is the best. So you want to get as close as you can to that. Right now, my car does run on that, 3% range. And the bigger injector you go, the harder it is to try to get it in that 3% range. That's why 5% is perfectly fine. You don't want to be over 5 because then, you're kind of pushing it. You do that, now you just hook it up, plug it in, upload your tune, boom, bam, you're done. And now you have a working injectors and a working flex fuel sensor. You'll be all good. So I can't show you the flex fuel sensor portion on here. 1, I don't have the car connected, and 2, you really won't see that on here unless you get a tuner to give you an aftermarket mod, and also parameters for this, which I can't provide. Once again, like I said just before in the last clip. So if you want, go ahead, hit me up on Patreon, hit me up in the DMs, we can get it all sorted. Anyway, that is what you do with that, and then you're basically done. But yeah, you guys, so I think that's basically it. Yeah, oh yeah, and then look here, let me show you how this looks right here on the log. Okay, so if we look right here, this is a ramp run that I did on a closed course. So we start up and we're already at 10.9 Luego, and we're hitting 46% on our injector duty cycle, and the highest we hit is 60. If you look right here, 60.9, which is awesome. And we have such a higher threshold too. So, and that's pump gas. This is me basically maxing out the motor with the stock turbo. We're pretty much sitting good. Now what we'll see is I'll do another video when I actually put the car on E85, and then I'll show you that the flex fuel sensor is working correctly and everything. But I had it working. I just need to do a TGV delete in order to use the TGV sensor. I can't do that just yet, but yeah, so you can see right there, 60%, we're good at 11 AFR, awesome. And yeah, man, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you have any more questions about the injector setup, let me know in the description. I'm gonna put in a quick clip of how the car sounds with the anti-lag. Man, that shit sounds good, huh? All right, so I hope you guys had a good one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let me know how your tuning is going for you guys as well in the comments. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for all the love and support that I've gotten on these last couple videos. I will be releasing, the next couple videos will be me finishing the Mini, because I got the head back and we're going to be cracking that out. And also the next video for this series is, so the next video will be just me getting equal length headers on, the new turbo, and an external wastegate up pipe. So big stuff on the next video. And I might even throw in putting the car on E85 at the same time, because I might as well just do everything. Since I'm already going to be taking the turbo off, I might as well take the intake off to do the TGV delete as well. So it might be a super big video. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.